The walls are tumbling down, and you may not think so. You might say, well, it's getting worse. Yeah, they're tumbling. All the walls. No, no, no. The walls that have been the barriers to everything that is amazingly abundant, healthy, happiness, all probabilities, those walls are tumbling down and opening up. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you that if you do this one thing, this world will transform into something we've never known before. We're going to talk about the nature of the human, what we're doing, why it isn't working now, and why we're going to go through a transition that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. Well, maybe a lot uncomfortable sometimes. If you hang tight to what I'm going to share with you, all will be well. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. Have you ever felt like you're always doing the right thing and you're just going into society, doing what you're supposed to, abiding by all the rules, and you're thinking, none of this is really working? You're not alone. As I shared with you, I've done a few videos and going to continue to show you how to unplug. I myself had to look at what I was doing, even financially, that was feeding a system that had no good intentions for me. In fact, it was this one thing that I'm going to talk about today that's tumbling down. I'm going to tell you why it's tumbling down, because you can participate in it in a very positive way, because we're not here to harm anybody. All right, so first of all, I'll hope you subscribe. It's going to really boost my channel and get the word out there that something really amazing is really happening. It's good. Now, you heard about the what has been discovered under the pyramid. Surprise, surprise, this was predicted. We also will hear something in 2026 that's going to be pretty mind-blowing. It's going to be a new knowledge, and this has been predicted by a few people. Chris Bledsoe, for one, who has communications with other beings, and whether you believe that or not, I do. Why? I'm getting my own message that something very big and beautiful is happening. It's coming, and it's because we're opening ourselves up to it. You see, we are one energy field. Just one thing. I know, and if you've read my book, I explain what that means. People cannot comprehend it. No time, no space, no nothing except for creation that is in all expression at the same time. That means we're completely connected. That means every thought of yours creates. It changes everything. It shifts everything. Now, we're going to talk about what's happening with all the systems, and I have been showing you as we've been moving through this big shift, a lot of things that are happening. We just had a big earthquake, 1,600 people so far as of this video. California fires, what the heck? Los Angeles under fire. We, of course, saw some devastating hurricanes here in Florida last year. I just shot a video I named about maybe 12 food recalls in 24 hours that were pretty big, and it was crazy stuff. Bleach in food, high blood pressure pills were contaminated, Coca-Cola's contaminated. What's going on? I'm going to tell you what's going on. You do this one thing, and you will help to push us into a completely new way of life that other societies, yes, this is an endless sea of creation. There are others that they do that has kept them in a completely different way of life that works. Service to others. We have functioned as service to self always. Always. Are there exceptions? Yeah. Christ was one, but he was still human. Jesus was a human being. He got angry. He lost his faith. He was a regular human being that went into an amazing space. He had a purpose here. He came down as a regular human being to prove that anybody can transform into something massively amazing, of which we all are originally, but we're in an unconscious state. Now, we're looking at the walls tumbling down. What does that mean? Corruption is being revealed on a level never seen before. the greed that people have displayed is now showing up. It cannot be hidden. Lies will be revealed, corruption, service to self, greed that has really damaged other people will no longer be tolerated. Instead of blaming and pointing fingers about horrible, people out there, instead, a new way of life of service to others will show and demonstrate it can be done. That means we're going to create the new world. We're going to create it. That means as creators, we are going to choose that which is best and highest. That means you will unplug. I talked about this. Unplug from everything. Have you been told, oh, divorce is wrong, certain things religious-wise is wrong? These are all control tactics. If it limits you and it's fearful, it is in a lower frequency. That's it, because you have no limits. Now, I just saw, and I'm going to do a video on this, I just saw a remote viewer. He hates that term. I think it's, not really accurate either, but he said the government doesn't like the word psychic, so they chose remote viewer. And I'll share details of who he is, and you can look this up. It was actually quite a long interview that I watched. It was fascinating. And basically, they were remote viewing things that were beyond our comprehension. Now, here's what he said that I absolutely loved, and if you guys haven't gotten my book, it was identical to what I wrote, let's say like well over a year ago, and I got my clairaudient message, get this out now. In the first few pages, the first statements, all I say is, everything is one thing happening. Not one thing with creation simultaneously happening. It's one thing happening. You and I are one thing happening, not individually. Now, it appears that way so that we can express ourselves that way, but we're actually one thing happening, because nothing or person, place, thing, event is independent of itself. It is connected to everything. So when people are doing things, and then you have a society of you, I'm hoping you're one of them, because you're going to experience great things if you do. It's your choice. If you go into a state of no more the separation, blaming, and me, and what can I get, and saving myself, and protecting myself, and hoarding it cannot work. It will crumble. So if you go into that state, it will work against you. Why? It's service to self. It's ego protecting itself. It's a protective mechanism. It was never meant to be an extreme reaction, an extreme way of life. But we chose it, so we're allowed that. Going into the other side, you never lack for anything. You ultimately never, ever can lack for anything. Even in the material world, service to others is what? No one will ever allow you to lack for anything, because you will always come first. And there will always be somebody there, and numerous people, organization, groups, whatever, to take care of one another, because they focus on the good and well-being of the whole. This is what we're going into. So what happens when we go into it? When we focus on that, everything else is not supported by us, right? We aren't supporting, we're not purchasing the plastic, we're not purchasing the poison, we're not going to fast foods. You can't complain about your health, and then you're absolutely plugged into everything that is keeping you sick. Dr. Eric Berg, if you don't know who he is, go visit him. He'll tell you what's in our food, and it just, even recently, some things that I thought were okay aren't. And that there's stuff in our food that has no value at all. In fact, it's meant to keep you sick, and it's clogging everything in your body up. We have to educate ourselves. We cannot be ignorant anymore. We're going into consciousness, and that means they're going to tumble down, because we're no longer playing in that game. We're unplugging, and then the lights go off, right? What do? We go over here somewhere and we shine the light on something else that is inclusive. Everything that you see that you think is wrong is the same light that you are. It's the same creation of all things that is of the highest, angels, archangels, and the lowest that you think is evil. It's the same energy field. And you condemning it is just you not going into the space of oneness, of whole. Service to others doesn't mean approval. In fact, it's the opposite. It means I'm not serving that behavior. I'm serving the good of the whole. All right? So if I decline to assist this, then I am separating myself from the whole, because that equally deserves our compassion and love. And I know it's tough, but that's what Christ demonstrated, and we're not doing it because we're so full of hate and ego that says that we want to eliminate that. It doesn't get eliminated. All right? When it dissolves in the human existence here, we're affected by it. We must create. So when the whole serves the other, service to others, you receive that. So abundance and health and all these things come in, and all of a sudden you have to shift how you've been thinking, how you've been working and operating, come out of fear and start going into that space where, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to take a chance, people, those of you who are my digital explorers, creating planet conscious businesses, I'm changing how we do business. How are we doing business? It's not about making money. It's about doing things for the good of others, and you benefit from it. In fact, you have a much greater chance of abundance by doing that than anything. A service to self, if you only care about yourself, what happens? Nobody wants to be around that. We are going into a golden era because the more of us that choose it, the more the matrix program that we're living out, because this is not base reality, it's an illusion, will shift into a new program that is service to others. All right? He said it. He goes, I know it's tough to imagine there's no such thing as time, but that's just how it is. You can go into the past, you can go into the future. Everything exists at once. It's never gone. But your choices are eternal. So be careful with that. So you're going to see corruption being shown in ways never before. Those who've been taking millions of dollars, lies. I just saw somebody scamming Chase Bank out of hundreds of millions for some financial student loan scheme. We're going to create support systems where we're going to support one another's efforts only if it serves others. So, Digital Explorers, I'm serving others, and I'm teaching others to serve others. And they're healing, and they're discovering themselves, and they're realizing they're not who they thought they were, and that there's a whole other world that they can step out of and become something completely different. And all of a sudden, you just don't even know who you are. You won't even know who you are anymore, and you realize, I was still in that system. And, because we're here, right? We have to pay bills. We have to have a bank account and credit cards and take pills and stuff. Well, I don't know. To what extreme? You can start to pull out of that. Are you ready to do that? Watch what happens. So how are you feeling right now? Do you see a lot of things being revealed? You're going to see more and more smaller incidents happening, like the fires and earthquakes and all those things. We're going to see spots all over, because it's going to hit us in different ways, because the transition's happening, right? It's pushing us to make decisions. It's pushing us to do things that we normally wouldn't. Because I finally, like myself, is like, what the hell? My whole family died. I got divorced. My dog died. My cousin, my brother, my parent. What the hell am I waiting for? Yeah, I'm next. Better go and do your stuff. And it's scary. Yeah, I'll help you through it. They'll help you through it. She'll help you. He'll help you. There's always somebody there for you. Ask and you shall receive. Why? Because assistance is here all the time. Everything exists for you, but you have to step into it. But if you're here and you don't believe and you say it can't happen, then you're choosing that. Knock it off. You have the power now. We're not asking anymore for that. We're asking as in creating it. And it, which is you, sends it into the reality of the matrix that you're living in now because you're open and this is what you accept and you say yes. As we go into the higher realms of love and light and you stop getting caught up in the garbage and you realize it's not important. What are we arguing? You won't even remember those arguments. How silly. Correcting one another. You're allowed to think what you want and you don't need somebody else to agree with you. It's ridiculous. We have to go into service to others. That is how peaceful societies live, and everything they do is focusing on results. Solutions. Do we have a power issue? Do we have an energy issue? Let's all get together. And service to other means every decision we make will never harm anything else. It will always serve the whole. It will make sure that it's positive for our planet, for animals, for everything. They get together and their focus is service to all for the good of the whole. So the food, they get together and they say, what's the best way to do that that's healthy? They all get together, and so we cannot function as a whole unless everyone comes in, because we all bring all these beautiful ideas and talents and experience and creativity together, and that's what makes the whole. So trying to stand alone with your little groups and fighting that doesn't work. It's collapsing. Get ready. It's going to happen big, big, big time. Telling you, get ready this year. Go into wholeness. Go into community. Go into solutions. Step in. You guys, I teach you skills. How to take care of yourself. How to learn how technology works. And by the way, there's no tech training. It's just learning how to use it. You can reach global audiences. What do you want to achieve? I'll help you do it. The help is out here. You'll find it. So get ready. Service to others, it's required. You cannot get into the penthouse without that. You ready to do it? The walls are tumbling down. It's not a bad thing. There's a beautiful, beautiful scenery on that other side. I've been experiencing some amazing stuff going to meditation. You guys can come into either of my email lists and I will be here to encourage you and tell you there is nothing to fear. All things are available to you. You are unlimited. Reach out to your neighbor, help your neighbor, love your neighbor. You don't have to argue with the neighbor. Again, I hope you'll subscribe. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.